Yusoff Rawther acquitted of drug and firearm charges in high-profile case. On the 12th of June 2025, the Kuala Lumpur High Court acquitted Muhammed Yusoff Rawther, the former research assistant to Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim, of 2 serious criminal charges involving drug trafficking and possession of imitation firearms. The court ruled that the prosecution had failed to establish a prima facie case, resulting in Yusoff's full acquittal without requiring him to enter a defense. The decision brings to a close a high-profile criminal case that had drawn national attention, though it does not affect the separate civil lawsuit Yusoff has filed against Anwar Ibrahim for alleged sexual misconduct. The case centered on the discovery of approximately 300 grams of cannabis and 2 imitation pistols found inside Yusoff's car in August 2023. Prosecutors charged him with drug trafficking under Section 39B1A of the Dangerous Drugs Act 1952, a provision that carries the mandatory death penalty upon conviction, as well as possession of imitation firearms under the Firearms, Increased Penalties Act. Yusoff, who was 32 at the time of his arrest, pleaded not guilty and maintained his innocence throughout the proceedings. In delivering the verdict, High Court Judge Datuk Muhammad Jamil Hussain found that the prosecution had failed to present sufficient evidence to prove that Yusoff had knowledge or control over the illegal items. Although the car where the contraband was found was registered in Yusoff's name, the court noted that this alone was not enough to prove possession beyond a reasonable doubt. The judge emphasized that the prosecution was unable to establish a direct link between Yusoff and the cannabis or imitation firearms, and thus failed to prove the essential elements required to proceed with a full trial. The acquittal was widely covered in Malaysian media, with outlets such as Malay Mail, The Edge, The Star, and Malaysia Kini reporting on the ruling. Malay Mail underscored the court's finding that the prosecution had failed to establish a prima facie case. The Edge noted the court's careful consideration of the ownership of the vehicle and the absence of conclusive evidence tying Yusoff to the contraband. The Star and Malaysia Kini both echoed the legal significance of the judge's decision to acquit and discharge Yusoff without requiring him to present a defense, highlighting the strength of the presumption of innocence in Malaysian law. Despite the criminal charges being dropped, Yusoff Rawther remains entangled in legal proceedings due to his civil lawsuit against Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim. Filed in 2019, the civil suit alleges that Anwar sexually assaulted him at the latter's residence in Bukit Segambut, Kuala Lumpur, on the 2nd of October 2018. Anwar has consistently denied the allegations, describing them as politically motivated. While the criminal complaint initially filed with the police did not result in prosecution, due to what the Attorney General's chambers described as insufficient evidence, the civil case proceeded independently through Malaysia's judicial system. In 2022, the Kuala Lumpur High Court stayed the civil trial pending a decision by the Court of Appeal on whether the case should be struck out. As of June 2025, the matter remains unresolved, with a final decision expected from the federal court in the coming months. The outcome of that case could have significant political and legal implications, not only for Yusoff, but also for Anwar Ibrahim, whose tenure as Prime Minister has been dogged by past allegations of misconduct. The acquittal of Yusoff Rawther in the criminal case represents a significant development in a complex and politically charged saga. It removes the immediate threat of capital punishment and lengthy imprisonment, but the legal battles are far from over. Yusoff's civil action against one of Malaysia's most powerful political figures continues to move slowly through the courts, underscoring the challenges faced by individuals pursuing allegations against high-ranking officials. For now, the High Court's decision offers Yusoff a reprieve and a measure of legal vindication in the face of extremely serious criminal accusations. Whether the same will hold true in the separate civil case remains to be seen. The question that still remains in the public mind: who instructed the police to frame him? A heartfelt light. To every soul whose hand did give, you've helped me dream, helped me live. In darkest hours your light came through, with heart so kind, so pure, so true. Your gifts, like stars in deepest night, have steered me gently toward the light. Each coin, each word, each silent prayer, a thread of hope so rich, so rare. My eyes once dimmed now seek the skies, and slowly clearer visions rise. Because of you, I dare to see the world again. Its grace, its plea. Your compassion's flame will not just stay with me alone. It lights the way for others wandering through despair to feel the warmth of selfless care. You've shown what love in action means, in quiet ways through giving scenes. You've built a bridge from soul to soul and made the broken feel more whole. So let this thanks rise like a song, a melody both soft and strong. May your example gently call more hearts to rise to give. To fall into the joy of lifting pain, of planting hope where none remains. Your kindness walks beside me still, a light, a love, a living will.
Don't forget to hit that subscribe button to show your support.